Vegetable oils, seed oils, and other cheap cooking oils are a staple of most Americans' kitchens. They are cheap, they can be used for frying, to keep things from sticking, and seem to be in every recipe from fajitas to brownies. The oil manufacturers claim that these oils are good for your heart, your skin, and even your cardiovascular system. So why would you not use these miracle oils if they are healthy and super cheap? Aha! Every story has two sides. Seed oils came to the forefront of the American diet in the United States in 1870 when two brothers-in-law, William Proctor and James Gamble, sound familiar, were approached by a German chemist named Edwin Kaiser. Kaiser had created a new process to create a, quote, creamy, pearly white substance that resembled lard from cottonwood seed oil. At the time, this oil was considered industrial waste and was being dumped into rivers as it was toxic to animals. In order to get this new product into American hands, Procter & Gamble launched what was then the most expensive marketing campaign in American history.
Mama, have you always used Crisco? Hey, girls, I learned pretty early. A great tasting pie starts with a Crisco crust. It's even flaky on the bottom.
They called their product Crisco in hopes of conjuring up images of freshness and crispness. A $1.5 million bribe, a donation, even earned them an endorsement from the American Heart Association. This eventually led to several organizations like the Center for Science and the Public Interest telling the American public to avoid other fats in favor of hydrogenated oils. Thus, America had almost fully transferred to seed oils by 1990 when the first study about the dangers of these oils came out. According to Oxford University, these oils are filled with trans fats and were directly responsible for the deaths of over 100,000 people. Between 1870 and 1990, as these oils came to prominence, the rate of cancer, obesity, Alzheimer's, and depression skyrocketed. Now, was this simply an unrelated coincidence, or was Oxford University right, and were seed oils responsible for millions of early deaths? To find out who's right, we need to start by learning about how these seed oils are made and what makes them so controversial. So, how are these oils made? Well, first, seeds from corn, soy, cotton, and safflower are gathered. These seeds are then heated to extreme heats to help release the oil. Afterwards, they are pressed with a highly toxic petroleum-based solvent called hexane. And yes, in case you're wondering, that hexane makes it into most seed oils. Next, several different chemicals are used to deodorize and further refine the oils. Finally, citric acid is added for odor and color. So, other than the citric acid and the hexane, that doesn't sound so bad, does it? Well, to start, heating the seeds causes the high levels of polyunsaturated fats to oxidize, forming small, although still unhealthy amounts of trans fats. In fact, according to an NIH study, every 2% increase in calories from trans fats causes your risk of heart disease to nearly double. Not only does the oxidation of polyunsaturated fats form harmful trans fats, it also causes lipid peroxides to form, which is something I hadn't heard of until recently. And yet, it's one of the most surprising and most harmful reasons that vegetable and seed oils are bad for you. Thankfully, lipid peroxides have been extensively explored since the 1950s. Lipid peroxidation can lead to heart failure, Alzheimer's disease, rheumatic arthritis, cancer, and other immunological disorders. So what is it and how does it do so much damage to your body? Lipid peroxidation is when free radicals steal electrons from the lipids in cell membranes, resulting in cell damage. This is most often associated with polyunsaturated fats because the hydrogen atoms in the methylene bridges that are often found in polyunsaturated fats can be extremely volatile. This can cause your cells, even your blood cells, to rupture because of the weakened cell membranes. In addition, the end product of lipid peroxidation may be mutagenic and carcinogenic, leading to cell death, cell clumping, and cancer. Lipid peroxidation has also been seen to have detrimental effects on DNA and can leave it severely damaged. Another frequently cited issue with seed oils is their imbalance of omega-3 and omega-6 essential fatty acids. Omega-3s and omega-6s are essential to your body. In fact, I take a fish oil supplement every day to help raise my omega-3s. However, we were created to have a very delicate balance between the two essential fatty acids, roughly 1-to-1. Unfortunately, the average Western diet is often 10 to 20 to 1 in favor of omega-6 fatty acids, at least according to the National Library of Medicine. This imbalance between the two fatty acids is bad because while omega-3s have an anti-inflammatory effect, omega-6s have an inflammatory effect. And while you need both of these fatty acids, an imbalance like that facing the Western world can lead to joint issues, DNA damage, tissue death, and internal scarring. So make sure to get your seafood in, as it's often very high in omega-3s and may help with any aggressive inflammation. Or, avoid foods that are high in omega-6s. So far we have covered what happens when you use seed oils in your own kitchen, but what about when restaurants and food chains use them? Well, what do they do differently than we do? Restaurants often reuse these oils. Picture French fries. This means the oils are frequently reheated. Reheating the already unstable seed oils causes them to further oxidize and thus creates more trans fats and lipid peroxidation. Reheating oils also causes them to produce chemicals called aldehydes. Aldehydes were not discovered in foods until as recently as 2012 when a group of researchers in Spain did a test on, you guessed it, seed oils. These chemicals are very harmful and are easily linked to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other neurodegenerative diseases. Finally, how do these oils contribute to obesity and cardiovascular disease? Well, this is often attributed to the far higher levels of linoleic acid in seed oils than our bodies are designed to handle. So what is linoleic acid and what does it do? Well, this acid is an omega-6, remember them? And a greater intake of linoleic acid seems to keep satiation away, causing you to eat more food. In addition, it seems to increase the size of fat cells. Linoleic acid can also restrict your body from burning fat, as it prevents the browning of fat cells, which promotes obesity and heart disease. Okay, so now that I have laid out some of the dangers of seed oils from plants like corn, soy, cotton, and safflower, what would you do to avoid these oils and what would you replace them with? Well, first off, you'd have to cut out almost all processed foods. Chips, crackers, some plant milks, fried foods, pretty much anything you can find in a plastic bag or at Walmart, to be entirely honest. There are then two routes you can go when it comes to replacing the oils in your day-to-day cooking. You can use animal products like organic butter or lard and tallow. I tend to use butter more often than not, but tallow is very good for you. These fats can help prevent weight gain, boost your immune system, and are often rich in micronutrients. On the flip side, you can also switch to cold-pressed oils instead of hydrogenated oils. Oils such as coconut oil, avocado oil, and olive oil. Cold-pressed oils are often rich in antioxidants. These oils are much healthier for you than the unstable seed oils, but they aren't quite as good for you as animal fats. To help burn off some of the fat from eating all the seed oils, you should make sure to get outside and get plenty of exercise. And that brings us to today's sponsor, Allbirds. Allbirds are a New Zealand-based shoe company that sell natural and extremely comfortable shoes. I've got a pair of the Allbirds men's trail runner and holy cow was I impressed. Guys, I've run thousands and thousands of miles for my time as a runner, and I have to say I'm very picky about my shoes. I am someone who will run in racing flats with 500 miles on them over Nike's flagship running shoe, the Vaporfly. But since I got these shoes, I've taken them camping, hiking, and of course, running. And they held up great. They are sturdy, comfy, and look amazing. Anyway, Allbirds almost never do sales, but I worked out a link with them to get you guys a free of what would have been expensive socks with any purchase, through the link in the description. Not only will you get an amazing pair of shoes and some super comfy socks, but you will also be helping support the channel so that we can make more videos like this for you. Anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. Make sure to subscribe for more videos on health, fitness, and wellness, and follow me on Instagram where I post some really sick photos and don't hesitate to share my opinions. Thank you for watching. My name is Silas Willoughby, and I'll see you guys in the next one.